we are living in an era where everything can be interpreted in a different way, and a lot of actors, because they're out there, they're very careful about what they say and what they put out there. What is your take? Was that thing ever in your mind? Because people are very cautious when they talk about any cause or when they're dedicating their war to a certain...
So I feel that this equality is not a cause. It's it's the bare minimum. It's the bare minimum of decency. And I believe that's what the majority of the world want, actually. We want an equal world. There shouldn't have to be a fight for the queer community. There shouldn't have to be...
I love that line of yours, that they're fighting a fight which they don't have
they
to.
shouldn't have to fight.
Yeah.
And I understand, of course, why the fight is at large. And they have had to fortify. But पहले से तो है हम equal. We are born equal as human beings. And I believe it, I mean, I might have gone there and said it, but only because I've learned from so many people that I've admired, artists, non-artists, whether it's parents or friends, it doesn't matter. There's actually what people want is equality. It's the only way forward. And so for me, it's not speaking up about a cause. It's just giving a reminder to what we all know anyway.
How sweet. Now, your journey has been amazing. You wanted to pursue your career in journalism. Of course, you did production design, then you did theater, and now you have, of course, grabbed this big award. What next? What next is coming up for Anasa?
Lots more acting.
Okay.
Lots more acting.
Is that going to be on a global stage or a lot of Indian projects?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Why
restrict yourself?
And I mean, I'm all about breaking the boundaries or borders and merging it all up, because I feel it connects all of us up, and we have more in common than we say. We have shockingly more in common. So,
I mean, emotions are universal, true.
Yes.
Yeah.
And humans are made of that.
Right.
So, lots of acting work on a global stage, in India, all of it.
Lovely. In the end, those who are aspiring to be actors and of course don't have any, let's say, formal education in acting, but they still want to crack it, what would you want to tell them? And if you can also include your experience while auditioning for The Shameless.
I would say continue always being true to whatever craft that you want to pursue, and know that it's always, there has to be a lot of work put in, a lot of hard work, and it's consistent work basically, and you have to keep at it. You just have to keep working. For me, it played out in a way that, yes, I did start out wanting to act, but it's not like I was waiting for acting and just doing something else. I was also doing the things that I liked doing, that meant something to me. So as advice, keep working hard, surround yourself with good people, surround yourself with good voices, pick good role models. There's excellent role models everywhere, the best role models and the most ordinary stories. And believe in yourself, and just don't compromise with who you want to be, no matter what that is.
Who would be your role model?
My role model would be anyone, I mean, okay, you caught me off guard, but since I've spent so many years in the production design department, and we work way, way behind the scenes. So my team actually were my prime role models, my carpenters, my painters, my electricians, my all kinds of the karigars, because these are people, they work not for recognition. They work because they must. They work because they want to do a good job. हर एक चीज में फिनिशिंग चाहिए, वो सेट का टेम्पररी फर्नीचर ही हो या जो भी है. And they are really my role models. I've learned work ethics from them. I've learned compassion from them. I've learned consideration from them. And be it in acting or in anything for the rest of my life, I think it holds me in great stead. And I'm very, very grateful to them.
आखिरी के दो सवाल. रेणुका का कैरेक्टर आपने निभाया, उसकी इंस्पिरेशन या उसके जो प्रेपरेशन है वो आपने किस तरीके की और अगर आप अपना प्रोसेस भी बता पाए.
तो प्रोसेस तो जैसे हर एक्टर का मतलब एक फिजिकल पार्ट होती है और मेंटल पार्ट भी होती है. it's a difficult character, but again, they are real characters. ऐसे बहुत रेणुका है. There are real characters, they are real people, and in my eyes, they are heroes. They are unsung heroes, but they are heroes. So मैंने जब script पढ़ी and I read about her, for me, I immediately fell in love with this human being, with this person who has only been a victim of circumstances, but she has hope, she has love, and that's the thing. हर एक चीज black and white नहीं होती है. Mostly it lays in the gray, and the darkest circumstances has the softest heart and soul. So for me, that attracted me to Renuka. In terms of the prep, it was a very taxing role physically. और
पर आपने किसी को ऑब्जर्व कर रही थी कैसे, या स्क्रिप्ट से ही आप इंस्पिरेशन?
स्क्रिप्ट से, and I think I'm a very instinct-based person, and I found so is my director Constantine. As you already know, I'm not a trained actor, but I've been in the film world for a long time. I've had the opportunity to observe brilliant actors, other professionals, educate myself, and I prep to the point that I thought I will even over prep if I have to. I'm not taking any chances. I wanted to make a truthful performance that can move people, not just go and act a part. And whether it's physically, I did a lot of martial arts. I was training pretty tough, running for a couple of months, 2 to 3 kilometers every day, because and my director, I'm so thankful, kind of gave me the liberty to design my character in a certain way, even before the clothes and the style came in. तो मतलब मैंने कैसी दिखनी चाहिए? Will she be thin? Will she be strong? Will she be muscular? Will she be lean? So I had that liberty, and I tried to create a woman who is a survivor, who doesn't get the privilege of prioritizing square meals in a day, but at the same time, she's powerful, she's dependable, she's reliable. So that was my physical work. Mentally, मतलब अपने में ही रहती है रेणुका, doesn't have a support system, unlike my life. So that was also very exciting for me. It's completely different from what I am. So that was a bit of a process to little bit keep to myself, isolate myself a little bit. And again, I have an extremely supportive family and partner, without which you can't pull off something like isolating yourself a bit. And the character had the film, actually, it's you go down to the depths of hell, but there's still so much love.
राइट, सपोर्टिव पार्टनर वाली बात तो हमने भी देखी है. इनके पार्टनर जो इनके लिए पानी का ग्लास तक रख के गए हैं. सो दैट्स वेरी वेरी काइंड. एंड ऑफ कोर्स आप, बिकॉज बहुत ही स्केड्यूल आपका अब टाइट हो रहा है और आगे जाके और टाइट होगा, बिकॉज एज यू डू मोर प्रेस. माय लास्ट क्वेश्चन, हर साल ऑफ कोर्स फिल्म फेस्टिवल की बहुत बात होती है, और लेकिन आम जनता को बहुत सारी बातें होंगी जो शायद नहीं पता हो सकती अबाउट दिस फिल्म फेस्टिवल. इज देयर एनीथिंग दैट यू want to tell us that is not often talked about Cannes Film Festival?
I think the cinema basically, and everyone knows, but actually focus वही है कि जो भी हो रहा है इधर, कारपेट है, सेलिब्रिटीज है, but सबका वही फोकस है, that this is a world platform. इतने अच्छे अच्छे पिक्चर आई है from all over the world, and so many are films that we might not get to see otherwise. We would never know that it got made. My film Shameless is a small film made tirelessly by producers from all over the world, with our Indian producer, there's a French producer, Swiss producer. It's a big melting pot, and there are more films like that made in even tougher, more challenging situations. So, and everyone who's there is aware of it. तो ये बात, I don't know, till you're there, शायद समझ में नहीं आते, क्योंकि मुझे नहीं आया था. You think it's the yachts and the glamour, and it's there.
Yeah.
But at the heart is the love for films.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank
and एक
you
बार
so
फिर से
much.
बहुत-बहुत बधाई आपको
Thank you
आपके
so
इस
much.
achievement के लिए. Thanks for making us proud.
Thank you.
Thank you. With camera person Ashwini Mehra, this is Arun Singh signing off for NDTV.
I'm going to give you a very straightforward answer and it's going to be like super honest. अगर आपको अपनी हेल्थ को ट्रैक करने के लिए या एक्टिविटी ट्रैक करने के लिए, if you want a device, first I would not recommend that you wear a smart watch on your biceps. I mean, not advisable at all. Watch को तो यही पहनना पड़ेगा. But let's say you want to move towards a ring. It's a great option. There are some amazing rings available जो बहुत अच्छे से आपकी फिटनेस को ट्रैक कर सकती हैं. But if you trying to go affordable वाले साइड में, let me be very frank with you, the accuracy is all around. मतलब वो बिल्कुल भी accurate नहीं होंगी. Sometimes the sensors just don't work. आपको random figures दिखती हैं ऐप में. So I would not at all advise कि आप एक affordable smart watch या smart ring for that matter, मतलब कुछ भी आप purchase करें, because half the times these sensors they really don't work. They are not really well calibrated. So if you want to invest, I mean, you need to invest a sufficient amount. And speaking of smart rings, I would say Samsung's smart ring is right around the corner. हो सकता है अगले 2 महीने हमको मिल सकती है. Right now we have Aura ring and we have some other options. तो वो आप try कर सकते हो. Those would really help you.
Hey TG, do you think I can execute and work on a fully fledged editing timeline on Adobe Premiere Pro with an iPad? मुझे बहुत ट्रैवल करना होता है यार, तो क्या एक iPad लेना ठीक रहेगा?
The best would be to get a MacBook. iPads are amazing. There's no doubt about it. But you don't have full-fledged, like these editing suites available on iPad. मतलब you can't use like a Premiere Pro जो आप desktop पे use करते हो. Even if you're trying to use the Final Cut Pro, like coming straight from Apple, on a laptop, on a proper desktop class editing software, you get many more options and iPad is a bit limiting, I would say. तो अगर आपको serious editing करनी है, I mean, if it's casual, iPad is more than capable. Even Final Cut Pro and all, they have super options baked in. आप सारा काम कर सकते हो. But if you're trying to get real professional, I would recommend you get a proper MacBook. I know it's a bit like iPad तो थोड़ा बड़ा हो जाता है while traveling and all.
दुनिया के सबसे बड़े लोकतंत्र का वो चुनाव जो देश और दुनिया को बदलने की ताकत रखता है. सरकार बनाएंगे करीब 100 करोड़ लोग, जिससे तय होंगे पीएम, पॉलिसी और फ्यूचर. इस सबसे बड़े चुनाव की बड़ी बातों को डिकोड करने के लिए मेरे साथ होंगे देश के जाने माने एक्सपर्ट्स. देश के चुनिंदा शहरों से एनडीटीवी की सबसे बड़ी पेशकश बैटल ग्राउंड देखिए मेरे साथ सिर्फ एनडीटीवी पर, क्योंकि चुनाव मतलब एनडीटीवी.
मैं सरकार दोबारा बनाने के लिए सरकार नहीं चलाता, मैं देश बनाने के लिए सरकार चलाता हूँ.
बार बार ये विपक्ष का कहना है कि साहब चाइना जो है हमारे यहाँ घुसा है.
रक्षा मंत्री होने के नाते आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूँ, भारत की 1 इंच जमीन पर भी कोई कब्जा नहीं करने पाएगा.
बैटल फॉर 2024.
केजरीवाल झूठ की दुकान खोल रखी है और झूठे बातें करके लोगों को बरगलाने का काम करता है.
क्या शांतिपूर्ण चुनाव हो रहा है? शुभेंदु अधिकारी कहते हैं तृणमूल जो हिंसक घटना हो रहा है उसके लिए जिम्मेदार है.
इन द लास्ट लैप
काफी बड़ी रैली हुई, सारे ऑपोजिशन लीडर्स उस पर आए थे. तो आपको
Welcome back. Delhi government has requested the Supreme Court for additional water supply from Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh for a month amid a severe shortage in the national capital. In his petition, Delhi said that the need for water has increased in the national capital amid the scorching heat. Delhi Minister Atishi also wrote to the centre claiming that Haryana has not been releasing the required amount of water.
In the scorching heat, Delhi reels under an acute water crisis, largely blamed on mismanagement.
टैंकर का कोई टाइम नहीं होता मैडम.
तो फिर आपको कैसे पता चलता है?
आते हैं देखने के लिए. अच्छा, पता करते हैं कि टैंकर आया है कि नहीं.
और फिर उसके बाद कैसे कैसे टाइम पर आता है टैंकर? मतलब
कोई टाइम ही नहीं है इसका. कभी 7 बजे डाल देता है, कभी 8 बजे, कभी 9 बजे.
As the shortage continues, the blame game has begun.
हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट जा रहे हैं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट हरियाणा को और यूपी के कुछ हिस्सों से जहां पर दिल्ली का पानी आता है उनको आदेश दे कि दिल्ली वालों को उनके हक का पानी मिलना चाहिए।
After moving the Supreme Court demanding additional water from Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh for a month, Atishi has now written to the central government. She has written to Union Water Minister Gajendra Shekhawat asking for more water for Delhi.
पानी का जिक्र आएगा नहीं क्योंकि पानी के मामले में वो राजनीति कर रहे हैं। दिल्ली अगर आज एक एक बूंद के लिए मेरी माताएं बहनें डब्बे लेके सड़कों पर घूम रही हैं, वो दृश्य देखा नहीं जाता। उसके लिए कोई एक आदमी जिम्मेदार है तो अरविंद केजरीवाल है। जल बोर्ड को लूट के खा गए वो।
As women stand for long hours in the heat to fill water, the Delhi Chief Minister takes to X appealing to the BJP that the water problem requires a joint effort from both the centre and the state. So political differences should be set aside.
What earlier was the case that water supply used to come in twice a day. Earlier this week, Delhi Water Minister Atishi brought down a water rationing system so as to bring about a supply of a unity, some sort of unity in the water supply here, as some pockets in Delhi are facing water crisis while some pockets are still well to do. So in order to balance out the water supply in the city, now water supply is just coming in one time a day, which was earlier twice a day. With camera person Arun Negi, this is Tanushka Datta for NDTV.
दिल्ली में इस समय सीवियर हीट वेव है। इस सीवियर हीट वेव के दौरान दिल्ली में पानी की भी कमी है। दिल्ली वाले परेशान हैं। दिल्ली के बगल में हरियाणा है, दिल्ली के बगल में उत्तर प्रदेश है। दोनों जगह भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है। मैं तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी से ये अपील करूंगी कि ये समय साथ आने का है। ये समय आपके द्वारा शासित हरियाणा सरकार, आपके द्वारा शासित उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार को अपील करने का है। अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपनी हरियाणा सरकार को कहेगी तो हरियाणा जरूर कुछ पानी दिल्ली को देगी। अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार को कहेगी तो उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार जरूर कुछ पानी दिल्ली को देगी।
मुझे कहते हुए अफसोस हो रहा है कि 10 साल के दौरान अपनी इनएफिशिएंसी, इनएक्शन और इनेबिलिटी को छुपाने के लिए दिल्ली सरकार की आदत बन गई है कि अपनी हर नाकामी के लिए दूसरों को दोष दें और मात्र सोशल मीडिया, प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस और कोर्ट केसेस करके अपनी जिम्मेदारियों से बचते रहें और जनता को गुमराह करते रहें। मैं दिल्ली में पानी की यह कमी जो सिर्फ और सिर्फ सरकार के मिसमैनेजमेंट को मानता हूं।
India's economy grew 7.8% in the March quarter, pushing up the annual growth rate to 8.2%. This is what, according to official data that was released on Friday. Now, growth in the January-March period was lower than the 8.6% expansion in the December quarter. The GDP has expanded 6.2% in the January-March period of the 2022-23 fiscal year, according to data that was released by the National Statistical Office.
That's right. India's GDP estimates for FY24 continue to surprise on the upside. Now, as of now, we're getting the provisional estimates for the annual GDP from MOSPI, and it continues to come on the upside, like I said, at 8.2%, as against estimates of 7.9%. Now, when we compare this to the last year, it was at 7%, 7.10 to be exact. Now, if you look at the fourth quarter in particular, that is the January to March quarter, we're looking that GDP estimate has come up to 7.8%. Now, the estimates were at about 7%, and one might even wonder what seems to be the key highlights of this. Of course, we continue to see a divergence between the GVA and the GDP. Last time in the third quarter, we observed it during October to December, and we're also observing that in this particular quarter, we're seeing that the GVA figure for the Jan to March quarter has come in at 6.3%. Remember, I said the GDP had clocked in at 7.8%. So while the GDP is a stunner, perhaps lower spend on subsidies could be attributed as one of the reasons for the divergence, which has now become a recurrence from the last quarter's figures as well. What seems to have been the sectors that have led this growth? Chiefly manufacturing, which came in at 8.9% in the last quarter, and also construction, which came in at 8.7%. Remember, these are sectors which continue to perform good for India and its larger infrastructure plans. That's all we have for you at the moment. But what we're looking at is a GDP stunner. Back to you.
That's all we have for you. Keep watching NDTV.
36 lakh farmer families affiliated with Amul across 18,600 villages of Gujarat have pledged to vote with their families during these elections. I would also urge you to take this pledge and vote as a part of the democratic process of our country.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello, Moto.
The plight of Air India passengers finally ends. The Delhi-San Francisco flight departs after 30 hours of delay. In an exclusive with NDTV, Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia on notice to Air India says making passengers wait inside the aircraft is unacceptable. A heatwave in Uttar Pradesh leads to spike in deaths. At least 25 poll staff among 40 heat-related deaths as North India boils. India gears up for the last leg of Lok Sabha elections. 57 seats across 7 states and 1 union territory to go to polls. Voting in all Punjab and Himachal seats on June 1st. Rape-accused MP Prajwal Revanna, who was arrested on Friday morning from Bengaluru airport on his return from Germany, has now been sent to police custody till June 6th. His mother's anticipatory bail plea is dismissed. 4 accused officials in the gaming zone fire case in Rajkot are sent to police custody for 12 days. 27 people had died after the gaming zone caught fire. Several lapses were revealed. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shah. Our top story: after over 30 hours of delay, Air India flight has finally taken off. Now, earlier, Air India was issued a notice by the Aviation Ministry after a 20-hour delay on a Delhi-San Francisco flight. Visuals from Delhi airport showed passengers of the flight lying down along an aerobridge corridor, and many complained about fainting inside the plane without air conditioning. The flight was delayed due to operational reasons, and by the time the issue was resolved, flight duty time limitations had kicked in. So passengers were made to wait without AC for 8 hours. This Delhi to San Francisco flight was delayed for over 30 hours, and passengers, some of them reportedly fainted while waiting inside the aircraft. And Ghazali joins us to get us more details on this. Ghazali, the Air India flight has finally taken off. This has been a harrowing experience for all the passengers.
Through the day, Osama, it was utter confusion for the passengers because since yesterday the time was getting rescheduled. Yesterday it was scheduled to depart at around 3 p.m. Then they were told that it will depart in the evening. And by 11 p.m. till 11 p.m. yesterday, the passengers were there at the airport. Then they were sent back to hotel. And initially it was said that perhaps it was a technical glitch. And then there was some payload issue. And today when the passengers were asked to reach at the airport by 8 in the morning, saying that the flight will leave at around or depart at around 11 a.m. But that didn't happen. No clear intimation was given to passengers. They were not given the actual reasons that why flight delay was happening, what is the reason of the delay. And by all means and reasons, finally, the flight took off at around 10 p.m. as per the sources within the Air India. And even DGCA has taken note of it, Civil Aviation Ministry has taken note of it, but no official communication, response or a reaction has been received from the Air India that why this entire episode took place. And passengers kept sharing their ordeal that how through the day there was no clear communication from the airlines. They were just given false assurances, one after the another, that in some time the flight will take off. But it took almost 2 days for the San Francisco bound Air India flight to leave India.
Right, Mohammad Ghazali, thank you very much for getting us all the latest in that story. In fact, NDTV's Vishnu Shom, he spoke to the Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia, who said that passengers cannot be kept indefinitely waiting inside the aircraft or in terminals. Listen in.
For an airline operator, be it X, Y or Z, the fact that if you have a issue with an aircraft or an issue with the crew or an issue with the pilots, then it is important, first of all, to keep every passenger abreast of the latest evolving scenario. Second, give them the choice to continue with their travel or not. And third, if it extends beyond a period of time, then you must cancel the flight and reschedule it, and therefore alleviate the suffering of any passenger. And if any passenger has to wait for 8 hours, and mind you, the time period of 8 hours is the duration almost of a Mumbai-London flight or a Delhi-London flight. Waiting inside the aircraft with no air conditioning or waiting inside the terminal with no facilities, unfortunately that is unacceptable to me.
Prajwal Revanna, who was arrested on Friday morning from Bengaluru airport on his return from Germany, has been sent to police custody till June 6th. Now, Revanna was taken into custody from Kempegowda airport at 12:45 a.m. by a three-member team of female cops. The move to have women arrest him was widely appreciated. Prajwal Revanna had fled to Germany a day after polling in his constituency Hasan on the 27th of April, and after hundreds of videos of women who were forced into sex by him allegedly went viral. He was later suspended from the JDS by his uncle Kumaraswamy. There are 3 cases so far against Revanna. Earlier on Friday, his mother's anticipatory bail plea was dismissed.
So do you feel that, finally there will be some justice that will be delivered to all those women there, because we are talking of a case that has been going on for a month now, and finally Prajwal Revanna is in the SIT nest?
Yes, he had sent a video from Germany, that he will come here on 31st, appear before the SIT. As he had promised, he has come last night, and he has been arrested now. And the due process of law will be followed by the SIT. And yes, we'll see. We'll definitely try to give justice to those women who are aggrieved. We will definitely give justice to them.
Seems like the battle between the SIT as well as the Revanna family is also going on with respect to the legal procedures. You have a case, the anticipatory bail plea of Bhavani Revanna, the bail plea of Prajwal Revanna, also the SIT challenging the bail of HD Revanna. How do you see these playouts?
No, the SIT purely go on the basis of the law of the land. We have to give justice to people, and SIT is part of the process. That is how. That is why we formed the SIT, so that to give justice.
The high-octane campaign for the Lok Sabha election comes to a close with the last phase of polling slated to take place on Saturday. Now, polling will take place on 57 seats across 7 states and 1 union territory, which includes the temple town of Varanasi, from where Prime Minister Modi is contesting. This will mark the end of about 44-day-long polling exercise in what is considered as world's largest election. Now, voting is already over in 486 seats in 28 states and union territories. The turnout in the first 6 phases lingered around above the 60% mark. And Punjab BJP President Sunil Jakhar has filed a complaint before the Chief Electoral Officer of Punjab against the forceful removal of the booths of the BJP in Faridkot and Sangrur. He said, and I quote, "I would like to bring to your attention the alarming development in specific areas, notably Kingra village of Faridkot and Bahadurgarh village of Sangrur. Reports indicate that booths belonging to the BJP are being forcefully removed by the Aam Aadmi Party workers under the pretext of farmer protests," is what Sunil Jakhar said in that letter. And at least 25 poll staff are among 40 heat-related deaths as North India boils. Poll staff on Lok Sabha poll duty in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar could not survive the heat wave conditions which gripped a large swathe of the country. According to the officials, the heat-related deaths were reported from Odisha, where 10 people died. In Bihar, 8, Jharkhand, 4 people lost their lives, and Uttar Pradesh, 1 person died on Thursday. Rajasthan has reported at least 5 heat-related deaths so far.
सोनभद्र ज़िले में एक ऐसी सूचना आई कि एक मतदान कर्मी जिसकी तबीयत ख़राब हुई थी डिस्पैच के समय, उसको हॉस्पिटल ले जाया गया और बाद में उनकी डेथ हो गई। और इस समय टेम्परेचर काफ़ी हाई है। पिछले 3-4 दिन से नॉर्दर्न इंडिया में, दिल्ली में, उत्तर प्रदेश के विभिन्न शहरों में काफ़ी ज़्यादा टेम्परेचर है। सो इसको देखते हुए आज पुनः सभी डीओज़ को, सभी आरओज़ को बताया गया कि इस तरह की घटनाओं से हम लोग बचें, सारे प्रिकॉशनरी मेजर हम लोग करें।
आज हमारे पास देखिए टोटल अभी तक हमारे पास 23 जवान आए हैं। 6 जवान हमारे इस समय मोर्टेलिटी मौत हो गई है, बाकी सभी को निकालिए सेटल्ड हैं। 2 पेशेंट अभी हमारे 2 जवान वो अभी थोड़ा गंभीर अवस्था में हैं। कारण क्या है? इनका कारण ये है कि हमारे पास जब आए हाई ग्रेड फीवर था और बीपी बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ा हुआ है, सबका आ रहा है, डायबिटीज़, शुगर बहुत बढ़ी हुई आ रही है, ब्रेन स्ट्रोक की भी चांस हो सकते हैं क्योंकि सडनली जो हिस्ट्री मिली मुझे कि वहीं गिरे हैं। तो हाई ग्रेड फीवर, हाई ग्रेड ये बीपी, उसकी वजह से इनको ब्रेन स्ट्रोक भी हो सकता है, जिसकी वजह से मौत का कारण हो सकता है। कहाँ पे ड्यूटी करने आए थे? ये चुनाव ड्यूटी में आए हैं और डिफरेंट जिले के हैं।
मिर्जापुर जनपद में कल 1 जून को मतदान की तिथि प्रस्तावित है, जिसके क्रम में आज पार्टी रवानगी की गई थी। और यहाँ हमारे 3 मतदान कार्मिक, जिसमें 1 चकबंदी अधिकारी है, 1 स्वास्थ्य विभाग के बाबू हैं और 1 सफाई कर्मचारी हैं, जिनकी तबीयत खराब होने की वजह से दुखद मृत्यु हो गई है। और इनकी जो आगे की पोस्टमार्टम की प्रक्रिया है, परिवारजनों को सूचना एवं अन्य समस्त आवश्यक कार्रवाई की जा रही है। इसके साथ ही अन्य कर्मचारियों की सुविधाओं के लिए सभी आवश्यक प्रबंध भी किए गए हैं।
Time for a very short break. News continues on the other side.
NDTV brought to you the most comprehensive coverage of the world's biggest election. From the Prime Minister to the top opposition leaders, we engaged with the most influential figures and renowned personalities in Indian politics. We captured the voter mood and sentiment from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Now, it's time to delve into the big numbers. Which party will secure the most seats? Or Modi Sarkar phir ek baar? The summary of exit polls from all channels and agencies. Get the definite poll of polls with NDTV. Tune in for continuous coverage starting 1st June only on NDTV network.
NDTV लगातार देखते रहिएगा क्योंकि चुनाव का मतलब NDTV।
Elections क्या हैं?
Election is basically a reality TV show जिससे बिग बॉस चुना जाता है। The biggest festival of democracy.
मेला है मेला।
हमारी आवाज।
Youth की आवाज। They make hashtags become a voting trend. They communicate their political views with memes. They turn their real ideas into reels. Youth makes elections a lot more fun, and we have just the right election shows for them. As India goes for its 18th general elections, join me, Arun Singh, for 18 Ka Vote only on NDTV. First-time voters, share your hopes and expectations from the leaders in the form of a video message. We'll feature select videos on NDTV.
I have a right to decide who will run my country for the next 5 years. And for that, I need to vote. So I pledge to vote, and I encourage all my family members, all my colleagues at Hyundai Motor India, and of course, all the citizens of my great country to go ahead and vote. Vote now and vote forever.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. One day this lecture hall will be made of code, and driverless cars would be trapped in intersections. But even in this maze of the future, you can't wish away health. It's time to become more resilient. "10 years of Banega Swasth India, we have grown and achieved so many milestones. And now I have a plan to beat the urgency to stop breathing with difficulty, to relieve getting choked with inactivity. Energize our government, our environment, our society, and ourselves. Everyone, everywhere, every day. बनेगा स्वस्थ इंडिया, one world hygiene.
The 18th Lok Sabha elections. As always, NDTV has its ear to the ground. With the biggest pie of 80 seats, all eyes will be on Uttar Pradesh.
Will the Troika ensure the Modi umbrella unites all?
It is the first election in Naya Kashmir since the scrapping of Article 370.
Will the same number of lotuses bloom in the desert, or can Gehlot lend a helping hand to India?
With BJP having Max here with the only pillar standing of Chhindwara fall.
Can Didi once again withstand the saffron tide?
Will BJP stay strong in its northeast bastion?
Jhadu ka jadoo or Modi magic? Can Congress gain lost ground in Punjab?
Will Revanth Reddy be able to increase the Congress strength in Telangana this time? And in Andhra Pradesh, will the Juggernaut be able to stop Chandrababu Naidu and Pawan Kalyan?
Can BJP win back its only stronghold in the south? Or will it be a Congress consolidation?
Can BJP make a dent in the Dravidian den?
Welcome back. A heatwave advisory has been issued for daily wages in Gurugram. This advisory is to prevent heat-related deaths. The advisory was issued for gig workers, including delivery partners and domestic helps. This advisory says that a minimum outdoor work to be given between noon and 4 p.m. Now, this advisory also mentions to provide the workers with lemonade. Delhi and adjoining areas, remember, have seen record-breaking temperatures, which has even led to water shortage in many parts of the national capital. And Delhi government has requested the Supreme Court for additional water supply from Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh for a month amid a severe shortage in the national capital. In its petition, the Delhi government said that the need for water has increased in the national capital amid the sweltering heat. Delhi Minister Atishi also wrote to the centre claiming that Haryana has not been releasing the required amount of water.
दिल्ली में इस समय सीवियर हीट वेव है। इस सीवियर हीट वेव के दौरान दिल्ली में पानी की भी कमी है। दिल्ली वाले परेशान हैं। दिल्ली के बगल में हरियाणा है, दिल्ली के बगल में उत्तर प्रदेश है। दोनों जगह भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है। मैं तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी से ये अपील करूंगी कि ये समय साथ आने का है। ये समय आपके द्वारा शासित हरियाणा सरकार, आपके द्वारा शासित उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार को अपील करने का है। अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपनी हरियाणा सरकार को कहेगी तो हरियाणा जरूर कुछ पानी दिल्ली को देगी। अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार को कहेगी तो उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार जरूर कुछ पानी दिल्ली को देगी।
मुझे कहते हुए अफसोस हो रहा है कि 10 साल के दौरान अपनी इनएफिशिएंसी, इनएक्शन और इनेबिलिटी को छुपाने के लिए दिल्ली सरकार की आदत बन गई है कि अपनी हर नाकामी के लिए दूसरों को दोष दें और मात्र सोशल मीडिया, प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस और कोर्ट केसेस करके अपनी जिम्मेदारियों से बचते रहें और जनता को गुमराह करते रहें। मैं दिल्ली में पानी की यह कमी जो सिर्फ और सिर्फ सरकार के मिसमैनेजमेंट को मानता हूं।
On to a special ground report from Nashik. Maharashtra's Nashik is witnessing a major water crisis amid the ongoing heat wave. Only 25% of the water of its capacity is left in Gangapur Dam, which is expected to last only till 12th of July. Here's a report.
A major crisis and a daily struggle for water in Maharashtra's Nashik district, amid an intense summer of scorching temperatures. Near zero water levels at the Tisgaon Dam, one of the 24 dams in Nashik.
This Gangapur Dam is built on the Godavari River and is a major source of water supply for the Nashik city. However, it is holding just 25% water of its full capacity and it will suffice only till 12th of July.
In the Manmad town, expensive private tankers are calling the shots, with the government system unable to cope with the surge in demand. The situation is so bad in Manmad that Alka Sable and her family say that they want to move out of the town for the summer.
मनमड़ छोड़ के जाना ऐसा मांगता है, बहुत परेशान हो गया हम लोग।
हर साल क्या पानी का समस्या रहता है या फिर ये साल ही ऐसा हो रहा है?
हर साल
इस बार लेकिन ज्यादा हो रहा है पानी का?
ज्यादा हुआ है।
The water bodies in Nashik are important for Mumbai as well. Mumbai's water supply needs are met by 7 lakes which are located in and around Mumbai, and one of them is Vetarna Lake, which is situated in the Nashik district. However, the water level in this lake has gone so down that if monsoon doesn't arrive on time, this place could resemble an empty playground.
पिण्याच्या पाण्याला आम्ही प्रायोरिटी दिलेली आहे. आता जिथं पाणी टंचाई आहे, एकदमच पाणी साठा कमी आहे, तिथल्या जिल्हाधिकाऱ्यांना आम्ही सूचना दिल्या आहेत की बांधकामासाठी वापरावं लागणारं पाणी आता तूर्त थांबवा.
Usually Marathawada, Vidarbha and Western Maharashtra are hit the hardest by drought by this time. Even Nashik in North Maharashtra is badly affected than last year. The district received just 56% of its annual average rainfall. Scorching heat this summer has added to depleting water levels in major dams here and across the state. Vijitendra Dikshit, Bureau Report for NDTV.
On to some sports news. The T20I World Cup is just a few days away and the excitement is building up. We spoke to former T20I World Cup winner RP Singh. Listen in.
We have with us the 2007 T20 World Cup champion, RP Singh with us, one of the most prolific left-arm seamers that India has seen in a long time. RP, first of all, we're here for this particular event. What do you think this particular league is going to add to the cricket that is already being played around the world, and especially a tournament like World Championship of Legends?
से बहुत कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट रहेगा क्योंकि हम लोग जब खेलना स्टार्ट करते हैं तो क्रिकेट से एक अट्रैक्शन लव की वजह से खेलना है. रिटायरमेंट के बाद भी हम मैक्सिमम टाइम अपना ग्राउंड में गुजारते हैं क्रिकेट के आसपास. तो सो क्यों नहीं एक ऐसा टूर्नामेंट हो जहाँ पर दोस्त वर रिटायर्ड रिसेंटली दे कैन पार्टिसिपेट एंड गिव द 100%. मुझे लगता है इंपॉर्टेंट रहता है हम जैसे प्लेयर के लिए जो अभी रिसेंटली रिटायर हुए.
टीम इंडिया की जर्सी पहनना ये सबसे जो जब आप लोग पहनते हैं फर्स्ट एक्साइटमेंट, वही एक्साइटमेंट फिर से खासकर इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच भी होने वाला है.
सी एज ए प्लेयर इंपॉर्टेंट कमिटमेंट लेवल होता है, और जब आप अपने कंट्री की जर्सी पहनते हो टीम इंडिया, तो कमिटमेंट लेवल आपको 110% हो जाता है. वो आप कोई भी मैच खेल लो, आप मोहल्ले में खेल लो या कंट्री खेलें, मगर जर्सी साथ में तो आपका कमिटमेंट बड़ा रहता है यहाँ पर. और टीम इंडिया जैसी इंपॉर्टेंट है, अब इतने साल उसको पहना, दोबारा पहनने का मौका मिल रहा है.
अभी वर्ल्ड कप भी शुरू हो रहा है और वर्ल्ड कप में हमने जब 2007 की टीम देखी थी, इट वाज अ वेरी फियरलेस अप्रोच बाय द बोर्ड, बाय द मैनेजमेंट, बाय द प्लेयर्स, जहाँ पे सारे यंग प्लेयर्स, हंग्री प्लेयर्स हु आर गिवन द चांस टू गो आउट एंड परफॉर्म. डू यू थिंक in the last 10 years we have not been able to do that, and this was a chance where we could have given more youngsters the chance to go out and perform?
ऑलरेडी काफ़ी लोगों को तो इंक्लूड किया है, जिसमें दोज हु आर परफॉर्मर इन IPL ऑल्सो, रिसेंट परफॉर्मेंस जिनका अच्छा रहा है. इफ़ यू टेक एग्जांपल संजू सैमसन, कि जब इंडिया के लिए खेला तो बहुत हॉट एंड कोल्ड परफॉर्मेंस था, कुछ अच्छे थे कुछ खराब, तो कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं थे, बट बिकॉज ऑफ IPL कंसिस्टेंसी दिया गया, और मुझे लगता है वो खिलाएंगे भी यहाँ पर. तो काफ़ी लोगों को चांस दिया गया यहाँ पर. अब सिर्फ विराट और रोहित को देख के ऐसा गेस करना मुश्किल है कि अब विराट एक ऐसा प्लेयर है, और रोहित भी, अगर सिर्फ विराट का, क्योंकि वो गेम को बहुत अच्छे से चलाता है. ही नोज़ हाउ टू रन द शो. तो जब तक वो है, हमने वो मेलबर्न पाकिस्तान मैच देखा ना, विराट ने मेरे हिसाब से, मेरी अपनी जब तक मैंने देखा है, एक वो सचिन बाजी का जो 98 था, और ये दो बेस्ट इनिंग्स जो मैंने अपने लगा, ग्रेटेस्ट इनिंग. तो उसके लिए वो वैसा प्लेयर चाहिए, उतना जिगरे वाला प्लेयर चाहिए. विराट और रोहित है, तो बैलेंस तो बहुत अच्छा बनाया है. वर्ल्ड कप ना भी हो तब भी इंडिया पाकिस्तान सबसे एक्साइटिंग फैक्टर होता है यहाँ पर. और मेरा चलो डेब्यू पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ है, पाकिस्तान के अंदर, वो एक इंटरेस्टिंग मैच होता है यहाँ पर. दो सेम तरीके की टीमें आमने सामने रहती हैं, तो कंपटीशन बड़ा रहता है.
आपको लगता है कि इसे ऐसे ही जाना चाहिए, विराट नंबर 3 पे आने चाहिए?
इससे बहुत इंडिविजुअल चॉइस है कि आप कैसे सोचते हैं कि टीम का कॉम्बिनेशन क्या होना चाहिए. कोच और मैनेजमेंट क्या, कैप्टन क्या सोचते हैं, बहुत अलग है. अगर मैं अपनी कॉम्बिनेशन के हिसाब से देखूँ, जो मुझे लगता है अगर मैं कोच होता तो क्या हो सकता है बेस्ट, मुझे लगता है रोहित विराट ओपन करना चाहिए, नंबर 3 संजू सैमसन होना चाहिए, 4 सूर्या, 5 ऋषभ, 6 हार्दिक, कुछ ऐसा लाइनअप होना चाहिए.
अनचार्टेड टेरेन है अमेरिका, लेकिन आप वहाँ पे खेले, हम क्या खेला, मैं थोड़ा ही खेले, लेकिन क्या एक्सपेक्ट करें? सुबह का मैच है, विंड है, क्या एक्सपेक्ट करें?
सुबह का मैच है तो बहुत ज़्यादा ड्रास्टिक चेंजेस विकेट में तो नहीं होने चाहिए, क्योंकि ड्यू का फैक्टर नहीं रहता है यहाँ पर. पर वेदर कैसा होगा, थोड़ा स्लोअर साइड होगा विकेट या फिर अगर थोड़ा क्लाउडी थोड़ा सीम होगा तो डिपेंड करता है उस दिन कैसी सिचुएशन होगी यहाँ पर। जो मैंने खेला जितना मैंने खेला थोड़ा स्लोअर साइड तो था यहाँ पर, ऐसा बहुत फायरी विकेट तो नहीं है।
वन फाइनल क्वेश्चन, इस टीम में हमारे पास अर्शदीप एज अ लेफ्ट आर्म पेसर है. डू यू थिंक इंडिया इज मिसिंग अ लेफ्ट आर्म पेसर लाइक यू?
आई थिंक अर्शदीप इज बेटर देन मी, सो अर्शदीप का परफॉर्मेंस और अभी अच्छा होना है। अर्शदीप के पास में स्विंग है और वेरिएशन है यहाँ पर, सिर्फ कैप्टन को अच्छे से इसको इस्तेमाल करना है, वो बहुत कुछ वंडर कर सकता है।
Thank you.
And finally, India's one of the favorite beverage brands, PepsiCo, had brought back the black color in its logo, which gives a bigger, bolder and a better look. Let's listen in to the marketing director and the head of design for India and South Asia.
So this year is the 125 years of Pepsi globally, and we've also launched our new identity logo, which is it's an evolution, but we've done this evolution, changed the logo after 14 years. This event celebrates that change. It celebrates the sentiment, the iconicity of Pepsi, and the evolution is keeping in mind that how do we, in context of today's sentiments of youth, in today's, how the brand has evolved over years.
That's all we have for you. Keep watching NDTV.
NDTV brought to you the most comprehensive coverage of the world's biggest election. From the Prime Minister to the top opposition leaders, we engaged with the most influential figures and renowned personalities in Indian politics. We captured the voter mood and sentiment from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Now, it's time to delve into the big numbers. Which party will secure the most seats? Or Modi Sarkar phir ek baar? The summary of exit polls from all channels and agencies. Get the definite poll of polls with NDTV. Tune in for continuous coverage starting 1st June only on NDTV network.
NDTV लगातार देखते रहिएगा क्योंकि चुनाव का मतलब NDTV.
The 2024 Lok Sabha polls are crucial for the future of this country. Having covered elections for 35 years, I hope to cut through the cacophony of a long, hot summer campaign and help to understand and decode the issues, the challenges, and finally, the outcome.
The biggest carnival of democracy, India's general election.
Prime Minister Modi makes a formidable bid for a hat-trick.
The opposition is trying to mount a united challenge.
And the southern parties are standing their ground.
As battle lines are drawn,
Join us on an exciting journey on the road to 2024.
Indian elections, a festival like no other.
And NDTV covers elections like no other.
When India votes, you can count on us.
As citizens of this great nation, we have the power to shape its future. And one of the most crucial ways we can do that is by casting our vote. It's not just a right for every citizen, it's a responsibility. A responsibility to ourselves, to our communities, and to our country. So, I urge all of you to exercise your right to vote. I always ensure that I fulfill this duty to our country.
Moving next towards our next story, you know कि अगर मैं इसके सामने खड़ा हूँ, if this is in the background, it's going to be about IO because that's about this entire episode. We are focusing on what Google, is bringing in all around. A lot has come straight from Google. Let's see up close कि आखिर क्या-क्या main highlights about this event. And after that, I'm going to sit down with someone very important to discuss AI and Google's vision for AI in detail.
गूगल I/O 2024 जैसे कि एक
The flight of Air India passengers finally ends. The Delhi-San Francisco flight departs after 30 hours of delay. In an exclusive with NDTV, Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia on notice to Air India says making passengers wait inside the aircraft is unacceptable. A heatwave in Uttar Pradesh leads to spike in deaths. At least 25 poll staff among 40 heat-related deaths as North India boils. India gears up for the last leg of Lok Sabha elections. 57 seats across 7 states and 1 union territory to go to polls. Voting in all Punjab and Himachal seats on June 1st. Rape-accused MP Prajwal Revanna, who was arrested on Friday morning from Bengaluru airport on his return from Germany, has now been sent to police custody till June 6th. His mother's anticipatory bail plea is dismissed. 4 accused officials in the gaming zone fire case in Rajkot are sent to police custody for 12 days. 27 people had died after the gaming zone caught fire. Several lapses were revealed. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shah. Our top story: after over 30 hours of delay, Air India flight has finally taken off. Now, earlier, Air India was issued a notice by the Aviation Ministry after a 20-hour delay on a Delhi-San Francisco flight. Visuals from Delhi airport showed passengers of the flight lying down along an aerobridge corridor, and many complained about fainting inside the plane without air conditioning. The flight was delayed due to operational reasons, and by the time the issue was resolved, flight duty time limitations had kicked in. So passengers were made to wait without AC for 8 hours. This Delhi to San Francisco flight was delayed for over 30 hours, and passengers, some of them reportedly fainted while waiting inside the aircraft. And Ghazali joins us to get us more details on this. Ghazali, the Air India flight has finally taken off. This has been a harrowing experience for all the passengers.
Through the day, Osama, it was utter confusion for the passengers because since yesterday the time was getting rescheduled. Yesterday it was scheduled to depart at around 3 p.m. Then they were told that it will depart in the evening. And by 11 p.m. till 11 p.m. yesterday, the passengers were there at the airport. Then they were sent back to hotel. And initially it was said that perhaps it was a technical glitch. And then there was some payload issue. And today when the passengers were asked to reach at the airport by 8 in the morning, saying that the flight will leave at around or depart at around 11 a.m. But that didn't happen. No clear intimation was given to passengers. They were not given the actual reasons that why flight delay was happening, what is the reason of the delay. And by all means and reasons, finally, the flight took off at around 10 p.m. as per the sources within the Air India. And even DGCA has taken note of it, Civil Aviation Ministry has taken note of it, but no official communication, response or a reaction has been received from the Air India that why this entire episode took place. And passengers kept sharing their ordeal that how through the day there was no clear communication from the airlines. They were just given false assurances, one after the another, that in some time the flight will take off. But it took almost 2 days for the San Francisco bound Air India flight to leave India.
Right, Mohammad Ghazali, thank you very much for getting us all the latest in that story. In fact, NDTV's Vishnu Shom, he spoke to the Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia, who said that passengers cannot be kept indefinitely waiting inside the aircraft or in terminals. Listen in.
For an airline operator, be it X, Y or Z, the fact that if you have a issue with an aircraft or an issue with the crew or an issue with the pilots, then it is important, first of all, to keep every passenger abreast of the latest evolving scenario. Second, give them the choice to continue with their travel or not. And third, if it extends beyond a period of time, then you must cancel the flight and reschedule it, and therefore alleviate the suffering of any passenger. And if any passenger has to wait for 8 hours, and mind you, the time period of 8 hours is the duration almost of a Mumbai-London flight or a Delhi-London flight, waiting inside the aircraft with no air conditioning or waiting inside the terminal with no facilities, unfortunately that is unacceptable to me.
Prajwal Revanna, who was arrested on Friday morning from Bengaluru airport on his return from Germany, has been sent to police custody till June 6th. Now, Revanna was taken into custody from Kempegowda airport at 12:45 a.m. by a three-member team of female cops. The move to have women arrest him was widely appreciated. Prajwal Revanna had fled to Germany a day after polling in his constituency Hassan on the 27th of April, and after hundreds of videos of women who were forced into sex by him allegedly went viral. He was later suspended from the JDS by his uncle Kumaraswamy. There are 3 cases so far against Revanna. Earlier on Friday, his mother's anticipatory bail plea was dismissed.
So do you feel that, finally there will be some justice that will be delivered to all those women there, because we are talking of a case that has been going on for a month now, and finally Prajwal Revanna is in the SIT nest?
Yes, he had sent a video from Germany, that he will come here on 31st, appear before the SIT. As he had promised, he has come last night, and he has been arrested now. And the due process of law will be followed by the SIT. And yes, we'll see. We'll definitely try to give justice to those women who are aggrieved. We will definitely give justice to them.
Seems like the battle between the SIT as well as the Revanna family is also going on with respect to the legal procedures. You have a case, the anticipatory bail plea of Bhavani Revanna, the bail plea of Prajwal Revanna, also the SIT challenging the bail of HD Revanna. How do you see these playouts?
No, the SIT purely go on the basis of the law of the land. We have to give justice to people, and SIT is part of the process. That is how. That is why we formed the SIT, so that to give justice.
The high-octane campaign for the Lok Sabha election comes to a close with the last phase of polling slated to take place on Saturday. Now, polling will take place on 57 seats across 7 states and 1 union territory, which includes the temple town of Varanasi, from where Prime Minister Modi is contesting. This will mark the end of about 44-day-long polling exercise in what is considered as world's largest election. Now, voting is already over in 486 seats in 28 states and union territories. The turnout in the first 6 phases lingered around above the 60% mark. And Punjab BJP President Sunil Jakhar has filed a complaint before the Chief Electoral Officer of Punjab against the forceful removal of the booths of the BJP in Faridkot and Sangrur. He said, and I quote, "I would like to bring to your attention the alarming development in specific areas, notably Kingra village of Faridkot and Bahadurgarh village of Sangrur. Reports indicate that booths belonging to the BJP are being forcefully removed by the Aam Aadmi Party workers under the pretext of farmer protests," is what Sunil Jakhar said in that letter. And at least 25 poll staff are among 40 heat-related deaths as North India boils. Poll staff on Lok Sabha poll duty in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar could not survive the heat wave conditions which gripped a large swathe of the country. According to the officials, heat-related deaths were reported from Odisha, where 10 people died. In Bihar, 8, Jharkhand, 4 people lost their lives, and Uttar Pradesh, 1 person died on Thursday. Rajasthan has reported at least 5 heat-related deaths so far.
सोनभद्र ज़िले में एक ऐसी सूचना आई कि एक मतदान कर्मी जिसकी तबीयत ख़राब हुई थी डिस्पैच के समय, उसको हॉस्पिटल ले जाया गया और बाद में उनकी डेथ हो गई। और इस समय टेम्परेचर काफ़ी हाई है। पिछले 3-4 दिन से नॉर्दर्न इंडिया में, दिल्ली में, उत्तर प्रदेश के विभिन्न शहरों में काफ़ी ज़्यादा टेम्परेचर है। सो इसको देखते हुए आज पुनः सभी डीओज़ को, सभी आरओज़ को बताया गया कि इस तरह की घटनाओं से हम लोग बचें, सारे प्रिकॉशनरी मेजर हम लोग करें।
आज हमारे पास देखिए टोटल अभी तक हमारे पास 23 जवान आए हैं। 6 जवान हमारे इस समय मोर्टेलिटी मौत हो गई है, बाकी सभी को निकाली है, सेटल्ड हैं। 2 पेशेंट अभी हमारे 2 जवान वो अभी थोड़ा गंभीर अवस्था में हैं। कारण क्या है सर? इनका कारण ये है कि हमारे पास जब आए हाई ग्रेड फीवर था और बीपी बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ा हुआ है, सबका आ रहा है, डायबिटीज़, शुगर बहुत बड़ी हुई आ रही है, ब्रेन स्ट्रोक के भी चांस हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि सडनली जो हिस्ट्री मिली मुझे कि वहीं गिरे हैं। तो हाई ग्रेड फीवर, हाई ग्रेड ये बीपी, उसकी वजह से इनको ब्रेन स्ट्रोक भी हो सकता है, जिसकी वजह से मौत का कारण हो सकता है।
कहाँ पे ड्यूटी करने आए थे?
ये चुनाव ड्यूटी में आए हैं और डिफरेंट जिले के हैं।
मिर्जापुर जनपद में कल 1 जून को मतदान की तिथि प्रस्तावित है, जिसके क्रम में आज पार्टी रवानगी की गई थी। और यहाँ हमारे 3 मतदान कार्मिक, जिसमें 1 चकबंदी अधिकारी है, 1 स्वास्थ्य विभाग के बाबू हैं और 1 सफाई कर्मचारी हैं, जिनकी तबीयत खराब होने की वजह से दुखद मृत्यु हो गई है। और इनकी जो आगे की पोस्टमार्टम की प्रक्रिया है, परिवारजनों को सूचना एवं अन्य समस्त आवश्यक कार्रवाई की जा रही है। इसके साथ ही अन्य कर्मचारियों की सुविधाओं के लिए सभी आवश्यक प्रबंध भी किए गए हैं।
Time for a very short break. News continues on the other side.
In our country, we choose our leaders, we decide who is going to be ruling the country, and it is something which is both a fantastic right, privilege, and we should also see it as our constitutional duty. So this election, I am going to be there, and I hope you all will join me in casting your vote too.
Data drives our understanding of any election. What does a dip in voting percentage mean? What are the big factors to watch out for this poll season? Join me, Amitav Tiwari, in a data deep dive only on NDTV, where we decode and simplify the data for you.
मैं सरकार दोबारा बनाने के लिए सरकार नहीं चलाता, मैं देश बनाने के लिए सरकार चलाता हूँ।
बार बार ये विपक्ष का कहना है कि साहब चाइना जो है हमारे यहाँ घुसा है।
रक्षा मंत्री होने के नाते आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूँ, भारत की 1 इंच जमीन पर भी कोई कब्जा नहीं करने पाएगा।
Battle for 2024.
केजरीवाल झूठ की दुकान खोल रखी है और झूठे बातें करके लोगों को बरगलाने का काम करता है।
क्या शांतिपूर्ण चुनाव हो रहा है? शुभेंदु अधिकारी कहते हैं तृणमूल जो हिंसक घटना हो रहा है उसके लिए जिम्मेदार है।
In the last lap,
काफ़ी बड़ी रैली हुई, सारे ऑपोजिशन लीडर्स उस पर आए थे, तो आपको क्या कहना है, किस तरीके से परफॉर्मेंस रहेगी इंडिया ब्लॉक की?
NDTV has kept you ahead with extensive ground coverage.
श्रावणी घोष जो तृणमूल कांग्रेस के जादवपुर कंस्टिट्यूएंसी से उम्मीदवार है।
Not just studio noise, but ear to the ground.
फिर से आपके चैनल पर कहना चाहता हूँ, हम 400 पार करेंगे और शेयर मार्केट भी बढ़ने वाला है।
Elections is equal to NDTV.
In the heat and dust of politics, perspective should not get lost. Watch me decipher hard politics through an academic lens, only on NDTV.
Hello everyone. I urge each one of you to exercise your right to vote. Your voice matters and all our votes shape our collective future. Let us make democracy stronger by going out and exercising our franchise. Jai Hind.
I'm going to give you a very straightforward answer and it's going to be like super honest. अगर आपको अपनी health को track करने के लिए या activity track करने के लिए, if you want a device, first I would not recommend that you wear a smartwatch on your biceps. I mean, not advisable at all. Watch को तो यही पहनना पड़ेगा. But let's say you want to move towards a ring. It's a great option. There are some amazing rings available जो बहुत अच्छे से आपके
Welcome back. A heatwave advisory has been issued for daily wagers in Gurugram. This advisory is to prevent heat-related deaths. The advisory was issued for gig workers, including delivery partners and domestic helps. This advisory says that a minimum outdoor work to be given between noon and 4 p.m. Now, this advisory also mentions to provide the workers with lemonade. Delhi and adjoining areas, remember, have seen record-breaking temperatures, which has even led to water shortage in many parts of the national capital. And Delhi government has requested the Supreme Court for additional water supply from Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh for a month amid a severe shortage in the national capital. In its petition, the Delhi government said that the need for water has increased in the national capital amid the sweltering heat. Delhi Minister Atishi also wrote to the centre claiming that Haryana has not been releasing the required amount of water.
दिल्ली में इस समय सीवियर हीट वेव है। इस सीवियर हीट वेव के दौरान दिल्ली में पानी की भी कमी है। दिल्ली वाले परेशान हैं। दिल्ली के बगल में हरियाणा है, दिल्ली के बगल में उत्तर प्रदेश है। दोनों जगह भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है। मैं तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी से ये अपील करूंगी कि ये समय साथ आने का है। ये समय आपके द्वारा शासित हरियाणा सरकार, आपके द्वारा शासित उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार को अपील करने का है। अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपनी हरियाणा सरकार को कहेगी तो हरियाणा जरूर कुछ पानी दिल्ली को देगी। अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार को कहेगी तो उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार जरूर कुछ पानी दिल्ली को देगी।
मुझे कहते हुए अफसोस हो रहा है कि 10 साल के दौरान अपनी इनएफिशिएंसी, इनएक्शन और इनेबिलिटी को छुपाने के लिए दिल्ली सरकार की आदत बन गई है कि अपनी हर नाकामी के लिए दूसरों को दोष दें और मात्र सोशल मीडिया, प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस और कोर्ट केसेस करके अपनी जिम्मेदारियों से बचते रहें और जनता को गुमराह करते रहें। मैं दिल्ली में पानी की यह कमी जो सिर्फ और सिर्फ सरकार के मिसमैनेजमेंट को मानता हूं।
On to a special ground report from Nashik. Maharashtra's Nashik is witnessing a major water crisis amid the ongoing heat wave. Only 25% of the water of its capacity is left in Gangapur Dam, which is expected to last only till 12th of July. Here's a report.
A major crisis and a daily struggle for water in Maharashtra's Nashik district, amid an intense summer of scorching temperatures. Near zero water levels at the Tisgaon Dam, one of the 24 dams in Nashik.
This Gangapur Dam is built on the Godavari River and is a major source of water supply for the Nashik city. However, it is holding just 25% water of its full capacity and it will suffice only till 12th of July.
In the Manmad town, expensive private tankers are calling the shots, with the government system unable to cope with the surge in demand. The situation is so bad in Manmad that Alka Sable and her family say that they want to move out of the town for the summer.
मनमड छोड़ के जाना ऐसा मांगता है। बहुत परेशान हो गए हम लोग।
हर साल क्या पानी का समस्या रहता है या फिर ये साल ही ऐसा हो रहा है?
हर साल।
इस बार लेकिन ज्यादा हो रहा है पानी का?
ज्यादा हुआ है।
The water bodies in Nashik are important for Mumbai as well. Mumbai's water supply needs are met by 7 lakes which are located in and around Mumbai. And one of them is Vetarna Lake, which is situated in the Nashik district. However, the water level in this lake has gone so down that if monsoon doesn't arrive on time, this place could resemble an empty playground.
पिण्याच्या पाण्याला आम्ही प्रायोरिटी दिलेली आहे। आता जिथं पाणी टंचाई आहे, एकदमच पाणी साठा कमी आहे, तिथल्या जिल्हाधिकाऱ्यांना आम्ही सूचना दिल्या आहेत की बांधकामासाठी वापरावं लागणारं पाणी आता तूर्त थांबवा।
Usually Marathwada, Vidarbha and Western Maharashtra are hit the hardest by drought by this time. Even Nashik in North Maharashtra is badly affected than last year. The district received just 56% of its annual average rainfall. Scorching heat this summer has added to depleting water levels in major dams here and across the state. Vijitendra Dixit, Bureau Report for NDTV.
On to some sports news. The T20I World Cup is just a few days away and the excitement is building up. We spoke to former T20I World Cup winner RP Singh. Listen in.
We have with us the 2007 T20 World Cup champion, RP Singh with us, one of the most prolific left-arm seamers that India has seen in a long time. RP, first of all, we're here for this particular event. What do you think this particular league is going to add to the cricket that has already been played around the world, and especially a tournament like World Championship of Legends?
से बहुत कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट रहता है, क्योंकि हम लोग जब खेलना स्टार्ट करते हैं तो क्रिकेट से एक अट्रैक्शन लव की वजह से खेलना है। रिटायरमेंट के बाद भी हम मैक्सिमम टाइम अपने ग्राउंड में गुजारते हैं क्रिकेट के आसपास, सो क्यों नहीं एक ऐसा टूर्नामेंट हो जहाँ पर दोस्त वर रिटायर्ड रिसेंटली दे कैन पार्टिसिपेट एंड गिव द 100%। मुझे लगता है इंपॉर्टेंट रहता है हम जैसे प्लेयर के लिए जो अभी रिसेंटली रिटायर हुए।
टीम इंडिया की जर्सी पहनना, ये सबसे जो जब आप लोग पहनते हैं फर्स्ट एक्साइटमेंट, वही एक्साइटमेंट फिर से खासकर इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच भी होने वाला है।
सी एज ए प्लेयर इंपॉर्टेंट कमिटमेंट लेवल होता है, और जब आप अपने कंट्री की जर्सी पहनते हो टीम इंडिया, तो कमिटमेंट लेवल आपको 110% हो जाता है। वो आप कोई भी मैच खेल रहे हो, आप मोहल्ले में खेल रहे हो या कंट्री खेल रहे हो, मगर जर्सी साथ में तो आपका कमिटमेंट बड़ा रहता है यहाँ पर। और टीम इंडिया जैसी इंपॉर्टेंट है, अब इतने साल उसको पहना, दोबारा पहनने का मौका मिल रहा है।
अभी वर्ल्ड कप भी शुरू हो रहा है और वर्ल्ड कप में हमने जब 2007 की टीम देखी थी, इट वाज अ वेरी फियरलेस अप्रोच बाय द बोर्ड, बाय द मैनेजमेंट, बाय द प्लेयर्स, जहाँ पे सारे यंग प्लेयर्स, हंग्री प्लेयर्स who were given the chance to go out and perform. Do you think in the last 10 years we have not been able to do that, and this was a chance where we could have given more youngsters the chance to go out and perform?
ऑलरेडी काफ़ी लोग को तो इंक्लूड किया है, जिसमें दोज हु आर परफॉर्मर इन IPL ऑल्सो, रिसेंट परफॉर्मेंस जिनका अच्छा रहा है। इफ़ यू टेक एग्जाम्पल संजू सैमसन, कि जब इंडिया के लिए खेला तो बहुत हॉट एंड कोल्ड परफॉर्मेंस था, कुछ अच्छे थे कुछ खराब, तो कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं थे, बट बिकॉज ऑफ IPL कंसिस्टेंसी दिया गया, और मुझे लगता है वो खिलाएंगे भी यहाँ पर, तो काफ़ी लोगों को चांस दिया गया यहाँ पर। अब सिर्फ विराट और रोहित को देख के ऐसा गेस करना मुश्किल है कि अब विराट एक ऐसा प्लेयर है, और रोहित भी, अगर सिर्फ विराट का, तो क्योंकि वो गेम को बहुत अच्छे से चलाता है, ही नोज़ हाउ टू रन द शो। तो जब तक वो है, हमने वो मेलबर्न पाकिस्तान मैच देखा ना, विराट ने मेरे हिसाब से, मेरी अपनी जब तक मैंने देखा है, एक वो सचिन बाजी का जो 98 था, और ये दो बेस्ट इनिंग्स जो मैंने अपने लगा, ग्रेटेस्ट इनिंग, तो उसके लिए वो ऐसा प्लेयर चाहिए, उतना जिगरे वाला प्लेयर चाहिए, विराट और रोहित है, तो बैलेंस तो बहुत अच्छा बनाया है। वर्ल्ड कप ना भी हो तब भी इंडिया पाकिस्तान सबसे एक्साइटिंग फैक्टर होता है यहाँ पर, और मेरा चलो डेब्यू पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ है, पाकिस्तान के अंदर वो एक इंटरेस्टिंग मैच होता है यहाँ पर। दो सेम तरीके की टीमें आमने सामने रहती हैं, तो कंपटीशन बड़ा रहता है।
आपको लगता है कि इसे ऐसे ही जाना चाहिए, विराट नंबर 3 पे आने चाहिए?
इससे बहुत इंडिविजुअल चॉइस है कि आप कैसे सोचते हैं कि टीम का कॉम्बिनेशन क्या होना चाहिए। कोच और मैनेजमेंट क्या, कैप्टन क्या सोचते हैं, बहुत अलग है। अगर मैं अपनी कॉम्बिनेशन के हिसाब से देखूँ, जो मुझे लगता है अगर मैं कोच होता तो क्या हो सकता है बेस्ट, मुझे लगता है रोहित विराट ओपन करना चाहिए, नंबर 3 संजू सैमसन होना चाहिए, 4 सूर्या, 5 ऋषभ, 6 हार्दिक, कुछ ऐसा लाइनअप होना चाहिए।
अनचार्टेड टेरेन है अमेरिका, लेकिन आप वहाँ पे खेले, हम क्या खेला, मैं थोड़ा ही खेले, लेकिन क्या एक्सपेक्ट करें? सुबह का मैच है, विंड है, क्या एक्सपेक्ट करें?
सुबह का मैच है तो बहुत ज़्यादा ड्रास्टिक चेंजेस विकेट में तो नहीं होने चाहिए, क्योंकि ड्यू का फैक्टर नहीं रहता यहाँ पर वेदर कैसा होगा, थोड़ा स्लोअर साइड होगा विकेट, या फिर अगर थोड़ा क्लाउडी थोड़ा सीम होगा, तो डिपेंड करता है उस दिन कैसी सिचुएशन होगी यहाँ पर। जो मैंने खेला जितना मैंने खेला थोड़ा स्लोअर साइड तो था यहाँ पर, ऐसा बहुत फायरी विकेट तो नहीं है।
वन फाइनल क्वेश्चन, इस टीम में हमारे पास अर्शदीप एज अ लेफ्ट आर्म पेसर है, डू यू थिंक इंडिया इज मिसिंग अ लेफ्ट आर्म पेसर लाइक यू?
आई थिंक अर्शदीप इज बेटर देन मी, सो अर्शदीप का परफॉर्मेंस और अभी अच्छा होना है। अर्शदीप के पास स्विंग है और वेरिएशन है यहाँ पर, सिर्फ कैप्टन को अच्छे से इस्तेमाल करना है, वो बहुत कुछ वंडर कर सकता है।
Thank you.
And finally, India's one of the favorite beverage brands, PepsiCo, had brought back the black color in its logo, which gives a bigger, bolder and a better look. Let's listen in to the marketing director and the head of design for India and South Asia.
So this year is the 125 years of Pepsi globally, and we've also launched our new identity logo, which is it's an evolution, but we've done this evolution, changed the logo after 14 years. This event celebrates that change. It celebrates the sentiment, the iconicity of Pepsi, and the evolution is keeping in mind that how do we, in context of today's sentiments of youth, in today's, how the brand has evolved over years.
That's all we have for you. Keep watching NDTV.
The 2024 Lok Sabha polls are crucial for the future of this country. Having covered elections for 35 years, I hope to cut through the cacophony of a long, hot summer campaign and help to understand and decode the issues, the challenges, and finally, the outcome.
मैं सरकार दोबारा बनाने के लिए सरकार नहीं चलाता, मैं देश बनाने के लिए सरकार चलाता हूँ।
बार बार ये विपक्ष का कहना है कि साहब चाइना जो है हमारे यहाँ घुसा है।
रक्षा मंत्री होने के नाते आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूँ, भारत की 1 इंच जमीन पर भी कोई कब्जा नहीं करने पाएगा।
Battle for 2024.
केजरीवाल झूठ की दुकान खोल रखी है और झूठे बातें करके लोगों को बरगलाने का काम करता है।
क्या शांतिपूर्ण चुनाव हो रहा है? शुभेंदु अधिकारी कहते हैं तृणमूल जो हिंसक घटना हो रहा है उसके लिए जिम्मेदार है।
In the last lap,
काफ़ी बड़ी रैली हुई, सारे ऑपोजिशन लीडर्स उस पर आए थे, तो आपको क्या कहना है, किस तरीके से परफॉर्मेंस रहेगी इंडिया ब्लॉक की?
NDTV has kept you ahead with extensive ground coverage.
शायोनी घोष जो तृणमूल कांग्रेस के जादवपुर कंस्टिट्यूएंसी से उम्मीदवार है।
Not just studio noise, but ear to the ground.
फिर से आपके चैनल पर कहना चाहता हूं, हम 400 पार करेंगे और शेयर मार्केट भी बढ़ने वाला है।
Elections is equal to NDTV.
After 5 years, we are again getting an opportunity to exercise our right to vote. This is a right which has been earned after a very long and hard struggle by our great leaders. We must not waste this opportunity. I have pledged that I will vote. I have appealed to all my family members and friends to come out and vote for the development of our great nation.
ओके सो दोस्तों अभी जो सेक्शन आ गया है यू ऑल नो इट्स माय पर्सनल फेवरेट बिकॉज यहाँ पे मैं जवाब देता हूँ ऑल द क्वेश्चंस जो आपने पूछे होते हैं उन सभी के। द सेक्शन इज नोन एज आस्क टीजी। लेट्स सी व्हाट वी हैव दिस वीक और क्या क्या अलग अलग सवाल हमको मिले हैं रिगार्डिंग अलग अलग गैजेट्स।
मैं अपनी बिटिया के लिए फ़ोन लेना चाह रहा हूँ। उसको फोटोग्राफी का अच्छा शौक है और साथ में उसकी पढ़ाई के भी काम आएगा, तो 25,000 तक कोई बढ़िया सा मोबाइल सजेस्ट कीजिए।
Okay, I'll just give you one recommendation for your daughter. If the budget is rupees 25,000, I strongly recommend that you get her the OnePlus Nord CE4. It's a great device, packed with performance, has all the features, battery काफ़ी अच्छी है, and I have seen quite a lot of youngsters use OnePlus smartphones, and 25,000 के budget में the OnePlus Nord CE4 is an amazing smartphone to get as an all-rounder. Your daughter will definitely love it. Honestly, I'll tell you there are two different ways to look at it. मतलब जो पोलराइड कैमरास होते हैं ना, those instant cameras जहाँ पे आपने फोटो खींचा उसका प्रिंट निकला, they have a different vibe altogether in terms of the color science, that rustic feel. मतलब वो जो आपको इफेक्ट मिलता है ना, इट्स क्वाइट यूनिक। एट द सेम टाइम जो पॉकेट प्रिंटर्स होते हैं उनका एडवांटेज ये होता है कि यू कैन यूज योर स्मार्टफोन्स कैमरा एंड एसेंशियली इफ यू हैव एनी फोटो इन योर गैलरी यू कैन गेट दैट फोटो प्रिंटेड इंस्टेंटली एंड वहाँ से आप बहुत अच्छी फोटोज खींच सकते हैं अपने फ़ोन से एंड देन यूज दैट प्रिंटर।
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello, Moto.
Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom on the programme this evening. Tomorrow is the final phase of polling, the 7th and final phase, and then you all sit tight and let's see what happens. From tomorrow evening, about 5 p.m. or so, exit polls will start. They often get it wrong, which is why at NDTV we're doing a poll of polls, essentially an average of what all the exit polls are saying, to give you an idea of which way things appear to be going. Will there be any surprises despite a poll of polls? What tends to happen is we get a trend. So by this time tomorrow evening, we'll get a trend on where people have likely voted, where these elections may be headed. And of course, the 4th is the big day. The election results will continue to bring you constant coverage of the big day. Remember, elections, NDTV is all about that. It has been that way for decades. So do stay tuned. We've got so much planned for you. At 1:30 this evening, I'll be joined by a very special guest, Jyotiraditya Scindia, the senior BJP minister. He says crossing the 400 mark is still possible for the BJP and NDA. Is that truly realistic? But first, ahead of a look at what the overall situation in phase 7 is, I think it's useful to introduce our reporters. But first, 7 phases. In the 7th phase, I should say, Uttar Pradesh, 13 of 80 seats go to polls. Punjab, 13 of 13. West Bengal, 9 of 42, Bihar, 8 of 40, Orissa, 6 of 21 seats, Himachal Pradesh, 4 of 4 seats, Jharkhand, 3 of 14, 1 of 1 in Chandigarh. And so it's 7 states, 1 union territory, 57 seats, 904 candidates. It's a very, very important phase indeed. Well, let's just go straight across now to our correspondents on the field who've been covering so much over the last few days. Tanima Biswas joins us from Kolkata. Saurabh Gupta tracking the situation in Orissa. Tanishq joins us from Namoghat. Is that where you are, Tanishq, in Varanasi? And I'm also joined by my colleague Gurpreet Chinna, who joins us from Chandigarh. Thanks all very much. Let me go across to you first, Tanishq. The Prime Minister has won the elections the last couple of times with record margins. I'm sure that would be the expectation of the BJP, but what are you actually picking up on the ground? Are people getting ready for a big festival or celebration?
Well, of course, you know, Vishnu, for the BJP, it has been a home turf for the BJP for the longest time. Before Prime Minister Narendra Modi decided to contest from here, it was Murli Manohar Joshi who actually contested, who was a member of parliament from here. But in 2014, it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who decided he will be contesting from here. In 2014, he got around 53% of vote share. That rose to 63%, around 55% in 2014. That rose to around 63% in 2019. But in 2019, it was the Samajwadi Party and the Congress were not in alliance back then. But this time, it is the Samajwadi Party and the Congress are in alliance. In fact, in 2019, it was the Samajwadi Party candidate that came number 2. So, of course, the India bloc here is looking for a transfer of votes. Definitely, we also saw Priyanka Gandhi and Dimple Yadav holding a massive roadshow here in Varanasi, and then Rahul Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav holding a joint public meeting. So, as far as opposition is concerned, they of course have put their best foot in front. They went all guns blazing with all their big wigs, Akhilesh Yadav, Dimple Yadav, Priyanka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, all of them campaigning here in support of Ajay Rai. But when we talk about the BJP, you know, for BJP, it is a foregone conclusion. Winning is a foregone conclusion. What they are eyeing is a record margin win this time. That is what the BJP believes, and they want a record margin win this time. Especially because it is the home turf of the BJP, and it is the Prime Minister that is himself is contesting from here. But if I talk about, and also of course I forgot to mention about how the BJP big guns have been campaigning here. They were campaigning here. Like Devendra Fadnavis, Smriti Irani, all the big guns, Keshav Prasad Maurya, all the big guns were present here campaigning in support of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But, talking about people, of course, this has been a BJP home turf, and for people of Varanasi, it is not just a member of parliament that they choose, but of course, they also have this feeling that we are choosing the Prime Minister. We are electing a Prime Minister from this constituency. And this is what people do take pride, the people of Banaras do take pride in. But at the same point of time, you know, what I sense is that issues like inflation and unemployment still matter to people. Even if they support BJP, issues like inflation and unemployment still matter to people. And they are looking for solutions also on these issues. Yes.
Absolutely. Gurpreet, let me come across to you. Let's focus a little bit on Punjab. The Aam Aadmi Party, of course, in the recent assembly elections did extremely well. However, one of the biggest victories the last time around in the Lok Sabha level was for the Congress Party. But the dynamics have changed within that state massively. So is Punjab really up for grabs this time around, at least at the Lok Sabha level?
Well, yes, Vishnu, there is a very interesting contest which is happening in Punjab, and in Punjab, only state where four-corner contest has been seen. Whether it's the BJP, they are first time they are going solo in all the 13 Lok Sabha seats, and whether it's the Shromani Akali Dal, they have put the whole things on the stake so that they will be able to revive or survive in the state of Punjab. At the same time, Aam Aadmi Party has a litmus test in the state of Punjab because they claim for the last 2.5 years they have been working very hard, and the free electricity has been given to residents of Punjab that they are trying to project everywhere in their campaign also. At the same time, the Congress, they have been criticizing. One side we have seen in national capital, they have formed India bloc and they have forged alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party. But here in Punjab, a lot of criticism, whether the leader of opposition Pratap Singh Bajwa or Congress chief, they have been attacking on Aam Aadmi Party in the state of Punjab. If we can talk about the hot seats in Punjab, we have seen Jalandhar, the former chief minister of Punjab, Charanjit Singh Channi, is contesting, and the Congress had put the whole weight behind the former chief minister because they feel he will be able to woo the Dalit voters from that area, from Doaba area. At the same time, for Shromani Akali, the most important seat is Bathinda, from where the former Union Minister Harsimrat Kaur Badal is contesting, and the whole Shromani Akali Dal had put the whole things on the stake in Bathinda, so that this seat, winning of this seat matters a lot for Shromani Akali Dal revival or survival.
So it's absolutely critical over there in terms of a four-cornered fight, as you actually mentioned, Gurpreet. That's absolutely fascinating this time. Tariba, let me go across to you. The Trinamool made a clean sweep in the 7th phase last time in Bengal. It was because of this performance in the 7th phase that they actually won most seats in Bengal. If I recall correctly, up till the 6th phase, I should say, the BJP was actually ahead of the Trinamool Congress. So this 7th phase is absolutely critical, both for the BJP and the Trinamool Congress, right?
That's right, Vishnu. In fact, and this is the crown jewel of sorts. It's the capital of the state, Kolkata, which is voting on Saturday. And TMC, of course, is very confident. It is South Bengal specifically, of course, is known as the TMC bastion. The last two phases have been all about that. But it's specifically, if you talk about Kolkata, the constituencies of South Kolkata, Jadavpur, or even the surrounding constituencies, whether it is Abhishek Banerjee's constituency, he's the incumbent MP there, again, standing for re-election from Diamond Harbour, or even Dum and some of the other surrounding constituencies of Kolkata, where TMC is very confident. The only area where, the only constituency where there seems to be some chatter about a keen contest, so to speak, is North Kolkata, where turncoat from TMC. Tapash Roy is, of course, the BJP candidate. So that is where BJP seems to see a fighting chance, so to speak, in this urban centre. In fact, the Prime Minister also, if you remember, held a road show from North Kolkata. He, of course, held a public meeting in Jadavpur as well. But it was in North Kolkata primarily that we saw the Prime Minister leading a road show over there along with the candidate. So that seems to be the seat in a way which seems to be where BJP sees a fighting chance. And also very quickly, as I said, the non-Bengali voters as well, whether or not the vote share as far as from these pockets of Kolkata, which seem to have a substantial and growing non-Bengali voters vote base, that gives BJP a bit of an edge as well. That's something to wait and watch out for. Vishnu.
All right, Tarima, thanks very much. Saurabh, let me go across to you. Odisha, of course, fascinating state. Simultaneous polls, Assembly and Lok Sabha this time around. Last time around, the BJD was supreme at both the assembly level and at the Lok Sabha level. Naveen Patnaik still very much the foremost leader, some would suggest, in Orissa. But is there a sense that there is a new tier of leadership that the BJD is really trying to get going, because he's been chief minister for a while, he's getting on now, and the party needs to be revitalized somewhat. Is that what this election is a test of?
Well, Naveen Patnaik is seeking a historic 6th term, and if he wins it, he's going to be India's longest-serving chief minister, and that's what's at stake here. Now, yes, there are simultaneous elections. 42 assembly seats and 6 parliamentary seats are going to polls, amongst them Kendrapada, which is, of course, the seat for Jay Panda, who's the BJD turned BJP leader. But beyond that, Naveen Patnaik made a very interesting statement, and he said, VK Pandian is not my successor. And that, in a sense, is blunting the attack of the BJP on 2 counts. One is on Odia Asmita, and the other is on the outsider tag attached to Mr. VK Pandian, a close aide of the chief minister, someone who was a bureaucrat who quit the IAS and joined the Biju Janata Dal, Naveen Patnaik's party. And there were talks of an alliance between the BJP and the BJD. Talks fell through and quickly descended into a very bitter campaign, with even the Prime Minister saying that he felt there was a conspiracy regarding Naveen Patnaik's deteriorating health, prompting Naveen Patnaik to respond, saying the Prime Minister could have simply picked up the phone and called if he was concerned. Unfortunate the Prime Minister used these words to get votes. So it is a very interesting state, but most importantly, simultaneous polls. Will Naveen Patnaik hold on to his turf? Will the BJP able to breach the Naveen Patnaik bastion? Or will Naveen Patnaik make history and become India's longest-serving chief minister and win a historic 6th term? All of that at stake in Odisha.
All right, thanks very much, all of you, for being with us, and we'll be seeing a lot more of you over the next couple of days. It's going to be really exciting from here onwards. If it hasn't already been that, we're going to now do a deep data dive. As we do that, I wanted to mention our panelists this evening: Dr. Shama Mohammed, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party; Dr. Guru Prakash Paswan of the BJP; Abhinandita Mathur, National Spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party; and Aarti Jairath, the senior journalist. So let's just go through some of the important data points and then bring on our panelists this evening. So let's take a look, bring up the first set of graphics if we can, to actually take a look at what the overall situation is. So we're just queuing up those graphic points. If you'll just bear with me for a moment as we try and get those graphics up. So I think what we can actually do, and I've got it with me, is talk about the significance of phase 1 to phase 6. That, of course, has already taken place. Now, if you take a look at phase 1 to 6 in the 2019 Lok Sabha result, the NDA had won 322 by the time you hit the 7th phase. The BJP had won 278 of this. The Congress had won just 44. The India Alliance, or what constitutes the India Alliance, they were of course not the India Alliance then, but in 2019 they had won 110 seats. Dr. Shama Mohammed, let me come to you first. How would you assess, or how would you actually look at this final phase? And let me be specific. The only state in North India where the NDA faced defeat in 2019 was Punjab. After Kerala, the Congress actually won the most seats from Punjab in 2019. Can the Congress repeat their 2019 performance after the huge defeat in the assembly elections?
I was in Punjab, and I can tell you that we are going to do better than what we did last time. So definitely there'll be a change there. You will see the changes in Himachal. You will see changes in Haryana. I mean, Himachal is going for polling. So what I have also, and even UP, let me tell you, this Agniveer issue is a huge issue all over northern part of India. If you go out there and go at the grassroots level. And also price rise is very important to the people, what is happening right now, and also the unemployment issue. Basically, people are a bit fed up of Narendra Modi talking from morning to night about Hindu, Muslim, Hindu, Muslim, Hindu, Muslim. They are asking the question is that if 10 years he's been in power, let him talk about how many jobs, what he has done for us in the last 10 years. It is after the Congress manifesto has come out, again I'm going to be saying that, very clearly that there is no talk about Modi ki guarantee manifesto. Why hasn't Narendra Modi spoken either about what he did in 10 years or about his new manifesto? Why is he picking up whatever, against the opposition, especially the Congress manifesto is the most talked about? It is clear, let me tell you, the writing is on the wall that the Bharatiya Janata Party is losing the election, the NDA is losing the election. They are very scared at this point of time. They are rattled because what they are getting reports also is that they are going way below 220. So, we are very sure that we are coming back to power in the coming election. There's an India alliance will be there.
I'm just making the point.
You also go around you must have also travelled.
No, I have travelled. I have travelled a fair bit, and honestly, I don't see them being rattled. I think the only statistic in this election campaign, which was worrying for the BJP and the NDA, was the low voter turnout. Now, that again depends on interpretation. Many feel that will not favour the BJP. Others say that, how do you assume that to be the case?
One more thing.
But apart from that, why do you say that they are necessarily rattled?
No, Vishnu,
that's my question.
Vishnu, one more thing. The ECI has also increased the number of votes, no? When they say first it is 3%.
No, but then that went to the Supreme Court.
So
that
we are
went to the
worried
Supreme
from
Court.
where the Election Commission of India getting these votes.
Yeah.
That is also
No,
worrying
but one
us.
second. That has been
Because
resolved by the
ECI
Supreme
Court. Mr. Modi is right now violating the model code
No,
of conduct
Shama,
by
that has been resolved by the Supreme Court. Whether you like it or not, Shama, that has been resolved by the Supreme Court.
What?
The Supreme Court was asked very pointedly by the ADR about how it is that numbers are not
what I'm trying
repeated.
to tell you,
so let's accept what the Supreme Court has said. It's not,
The Supreme Court said they're not going to interfere. That's what the Supreme Court said. We will not interfere. Let me make
if they
that
aren't
clear
interfering,
also,
then we need to accept what the results are. They have also, the Election Commission, come out with a detailed explanation
I'm not going to accept
on how
what
it
the
works.
results
They've also
are.
come out with
Because
absolute
if
numbers.
there is so much of a discrepancy, we are not going to accept like that.
Okay.
Because the Election Commission has just been a puppet this time.
Okay, Shama, fair enough. Let me go across to Dr. Guru Prakash Paswan.
Of conduct right now.
Shama, hang on half a sec. We'll come back to you. Dr. Paswan, 2 points that she spoke about. Shama Mohammed of the Congress Party says that the Prime Minister has not spoken enough about job generation, employment issues on the ground. And secondly, the Congress believes that the role of the Election Commission is dubious. How would you respond to both these points?
No, Vishnu, I think I'm reminded of a saying which is dar acha hai. I think this dar is very good, this dar is very legitimate because they need a reason to blame upon. It is either going to be Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge or the Election Commission of India or the EVMs. But the simple fact of the matter is, I very well remember, and Vishnu, you would also remember, that in 2009 general election, Mr. Naveen Chawla, who was disqualified to hold any public office by the Shah Commission, Mr. Naveen Chawla used to call himself as the third son of Indira Gandhi. He was made the election commissioner, a chief election commissioner, just before the election was about to be announced, a 2009 parliamentary post. Point number one. Point number two, Congress party has absolutely no faith in any institution as long as it's convenient for them. Supreme Court of India, it suits them when it's an electoral bond scheme. Supreme Court of India, it is against them when any of their leadership is against their wishes and fancies. But the simple point is that economy is doing well. Only this morning we had a report from S&P that moved our status from stable to positive. So apparently under an Oxford-Cambridge economist prime minister, we were a stable economy. But for the first time, we are now, in the last 14 years, we are a positive going economy. 5th largest economy already, we are going to be 3rd largest economy, 25 crore people out of poverty. And the Congress spokesperson keep on saying Hindu, Muslim, Hindu, Muslim. Madam, your party is doing Muslim, Muslim. Absolutely. Mr. Sam Pitroda, overseas Congress chief, he is talking about wealth distribution. Former Prime Minister speaking about the first claim of Muslim over the national resources. So on the one hand, the Prime Minister Modi, Bharatiya Janata Party, we speak on behalf of 1.4 billion people. We speak for 1.4 billion people. On the other hand, the Congress party, in its quest for minority appeasement, historically and structurally has damaged the secular fabric of our country. The people of India has seen through it, and that is one of the reasons, Vishnu, that in 2019 we got an even bigger mandate than 2014, and in 2024, on June 4th, I did not speak when they were speaking. I did not speak when you were speaking, ma'am. Please show some grace and patience. Thank you so much.
Carry on, Dr. Paswad.
In 2019, we got a bigger mandate. In 2019, we got a bigger mandate than 2014. In 2024 also, we would see an even bigger mandate than 2019. 400 par, and the opposition is absolutely routed and rattled.
Okay. I wanted to go across to Abhinandita. Abhinandita, can the Aam Aadmi Party repeat its 2022 assembly poll performance?
Yes, certainly. Hopefully, yes. But for us, this election is not just about...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. For us, this election is not just about, A party, B party, or any individual. Nobody is above the country. I think that collectively what the country has shown right now is that they will not tolerate any kind of, threat to our democracy, any kind of threat to just basic grace. Politics is supposed to have some greater purpose, Vishnu. But this 10 years of Mr. Modi have completely destroyed the prospects of politics. Modi has made politics actually like a dark, dirty thing. I mean, unfortunately, and him being the prime minister, lying from the highest podiums. What is he trying to do now? He's also declared that he's not biologically. I mean, there is a little, it's a bit worrisome how he's talking, abusing minorities from the biggest stages, inciting violence, hatred, putting opposition leaders in prison. This is not going to, which is why we say that a party or an individual is not as important. I don't think that, I honestly feel it's hard to imagine why even in the good folks in the BJP or the RSS are not, allowing Modi ji to ruin the country like this. Because even with any iota of patriotism, I think people should be able to see that this, this election is about the country and not about one person, one party.
Well, that really depends. I think, Abhinandita, one needs to wait to see what finally takes place.
Yes, but I'll tell you, I've been on the ground. I've been on the ground. I'll just finish quickly. I've been on the ground, and the way the people have been manipulated. They've been dazzled with Modi ji's antics and tricks. When you ask him about unemployment, which is a big issue on the ground, and everyone here will agree, we say, "Aji, 2024 में क्या है नौकरी की हालत?" Then he'll tell you 2024 में के लिए उनके पास कुछ plan है.
Okay, one second, Abhinandita. Let me bring in Aarti over here.
With the electorate, I think that the
one sec. Abhinandita, let me bring in Aarti as well. Aarti, both the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, perhaps predictably, making the point that, look, not enough has been spoken by the BJP or the Prime Minister on the real issues of employment, job creation and inflation. However, when one speaks to BJP leaders, even Jyotiraditya Scindia, who I spoke to today, he went on and on about India's economic growth and job creation. So it really depends on who you want to listen to or whose argument you want to accept.
Vishnu, let's not listen to what the political leadership is saying, because they will obviously say what suits them. But I think let's just listen to what people on the ground say. And, throughout your shows, when your reporters were speaking to people across the country, unemployment was one issue that was being raised by a lot of voters. Yes, they talked about development, they talked about, the good things that had been done by the Modi government, but they also talked about their fears about rising joblessness. So, it is clearly an issue, whether the BJP wants to admit it or not. I think that for the next government, this is going to be a challenge. The very fact that you have a Labharti network of 22 crore families, who are being given free grain and subsidized housing, subsidized gas connections and so on, means that you still have to create this safety network of welfare schemes for people. So clearly there is poverty on the ground. There is, some kind of unemployment, joblessness on the ground. So, I think that there's no point in hiding behind it. You can claim whatever GDP statistics, growth statistics you want to, and certainly the news today has been quite good. But, you know, it must also match reality, ground reality. And I think that what we're seeing is a disconnect between what leaders are saying and what people are saying on the ground. And somewhere, I hope that that twain meets and, you know, the country can
That's
move
what
ahead.
makes this election so interesting. Dr. Paswan, in the final phase in Uttar Pradesh, 13 seats in the eastern part of the state are going to polls, including Varanasi, the Prime Minister's seat. Last time, the NDA won 11 of these 13 seats. You know, a huge strike rate. Do you believe that the NDA can seriously repeat its performance over there? A lot of people will suggest that the opposition is more invigorated in Uttar Pradesh, perhaps more cohesive than it was last time.
No, absolutely. I think Vishnu, Uttar Pradesh has been, we have been very privileged to work in Uttar Pradesh because 2014, the number of MPs that Uttar Pradesh gave us was phenomenal. 2017, we formed a single majority government in the Vidhan Sabha. 2019, when all the opposition parties came together, despite that, we had a substantial number of member of parliaments from Uttar Pradesh. In 2022, for the first time in the last 30 years, we had a BJP government, Yogi Adityanath ji, coming again with a single majority. So I think Uttar Pradesh is very important to us, and Honorable Prime Minister himself contesting from Varanasi sends a very strong message, sends a very strong signal. Uttar Pradesh has undergone a very fundamental transformation in the last 10 years in terms of governance, in terms of development. It used to be a place, it used to be a state where law and order was an issue, anarchy was an issue. But in the last 10 years, we have seen a very fundamental developmental conversation, political discourse starting in Uttar Pradesh. So we are very hopeful that Uttar Pradesh, especially the eastern Uttar Pradesh like Devariya, Varanasi, Balia, these are the seats where we have personally went to and campaigned, and especially among the unconventional quarters as well. Women from the minority communities, women from the SC/ST communities, they are coming out in large numbers and supporting our welfare, our Labharti program. More than 4 crore of Awas Yojana, more than 10 crore Ujjwala Yojana, more than 25 crore people out of Garibi Rekha, more than 50 crore Jandan accounts. So I think it is a combination of factors of welfare, Labharti outreach, and a more inclusive, a more diverse, and a more equitable power structure that has emerged in the last 10 years. We have for the first time, Vishnu, 3 Dalit women in the history of Uttar Pradesh, in the UP cabinet, Vijay Lakshmi ji, Gulab Devi ji, Baby Rani Maurya ji. So the people of Uttar Pradesh, especially the women of Uttar Pradesh, I would again like to focus the Dalit women, the Adivasi women, the minority women who were absolutely in problem with the triple talaq. But after the abolition of triple talaq, we are seeing a renewed sense of hope, a renewed sense of faith in the leadership of Bharatiya Janata Party, in the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned. So we are very positive, and we are excitedly looking forward to what's going to happen in Uttar Pradesh. But we are definitely looking forward to it. People of Uttar Pradesh, the women of Uttar Pradesh will definitely give us their blessings, and our performance would definitely be better than 2019, Vishnu.
Yeah. Shama, I wanted to talk a little bit about Bihar with you.
He's going on talking, you're not...
One sec. So let's focus on Bihar a little bit. So we're just trying to get as many states covered. Shama, the NDA won all 8 seats last time that are going to the polls in this final phase. Last time, Upendra Kushwaha, Jitan Ram Manji's party were part of the Mahagathbandhan. This time, they are with the NDA. With a larger alliance this time, can the NDA replicate its previous performance, or do you believe the India alliance is set to make a comeback?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that after I have to reply to Dr. Guru Prakash, what he said. He said about Naveen Chawla. Let's understand, in 2019, the Supreme Court pulled up the Election Commission because they were not holding to account Mr. Modi. And finally, Mr. Ashok Lavasa came out and said, yes, Mr. Modi has violated the code of conduct, and Mr. Ashok Lavasa had to resign. Number 2, he says that 23 crore people have been taken out of poverty. Who said this? When we took out 27 crore people, UNDP said that, Oxfam said that. And you take out 23 people out of poverty, but you're giving 80 crore people free food. I fail to understand your mathematics. 80 crore people out of 140 crore people are being given free food. So how can you lie like this coming on live TV? You have to stop lying. People know that you open and lie out here. There is nothing what you're saying is the truth. And you have not saved any Muslim women or Muslim minorities. They are all against you because you have killed a lot of their husbands through cow lynching and mob lynching. You have... No, but it's not personal. I'm talking about the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Of lying this, that and the other. That's a bit unfortunate.
Vishnu, you're trying to become a BJP spokesperson now. Sorry?
You're not accusing him of lying on air and things like that. You're just trying to have a... All right, 1 second. He wants to reply to that.
No, I mean...
Since nobody is answering my questions,
Vishnu, it looks
let
like
him
I
answer.
can't come on your show anymore because you are... No, you didn't let me finish. No, I don't want Paswan to reply because I want my time. I want my time.
But
Look,
you haven't
Brij
answered
Bhushan
the
Sharan
question.
Singh is here. He talks about women. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, have the women of India got anything out? Mr. Modi supported a
What about
rapist.
Shantilal
He's
Dhariwal?
supporting
Shantilal
Prajwal
Dhariwal,
Revanna
Rajasthan
comes on
मर्दों का
31st.
प्रदेश है. राजस्थान मर्दों का प्रदेश है. Shantilal Dhariwal, your minister. शांतिलाल धारीवाल ने क्या बोला था? राजस्थान मर्दों का प्रदेश है, रेप होता रहेगा. शांतिलाल धारीवाल के बारे में बोलिए जरा. शांतिलाल धारीवाल, राजस्थान मर्दों का प्रदेश है. राजस्थान मर्दों का प्रदेश है. Your minister said.
All right, bring down both their sounds. Bring down both their sounds.
शांतिलाल धारीवाल.
Bring down both their sounds. Aarti, let me take that question across to you. Bihar is an absolutely fascinating state.
Yes.
The alliances have changed. We've seen Nitish move from one side to the other, back to one side. And so where exactly, how do you see it going, particularly in the 7th phase?
So, personally, I think that Nitish Kumar is the weak link in the NDA. It's a bit like what happened in Maharashtra. There's been so much chopping and changing that the people of Maharashtra are quite confused and I think quite disgusted as well with the kind of politics they've seen in the last 2-3 years. So I think a similar kind of feeling is there in Bihar. And personally, I feel that if the BJP had gone on its own without Nitish, it probably would have done far better, rather than compromise itself and, take back a man who has left them, come back, left them, and then come back again. It is a compromise of their ideology and their principles. There's no doubt about it. And I think that there will be an impact on the ground. I think we will see an impact in the results. I do believe that the NDA will not do as well as it did last time. What will help the NDA stay afloat is the BJP's own seats, the 17 seats that the BJP is contesting, where, I think the BJP is pretty strong. But I'm not sure how well the JDU will do. That is really the weak link in Bihar.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us. Tomorrow, this time, we'll get a clear idea of where the exit polls are actually headed. Whether the exit polls are accurate or not, nobody knows. But earlier today, I spoke to the senior BJP leader, Jyotiraditya Scindia. We covered a lot of themes from politics to civil aviation. Listen in. Well, campaigning is over now for these mega elections 2024. All that leaders can really do at this stage essentially is to wait and watch what happens. Voting for the final phase will of course take place, then of course exit polls, and then the 4th of June, the big day. Jyotiraditya Scindia, the senior BJP leader, has been extremely busy on the campaign trail, had spent some time with him in Madhya Pradesh, in Guna, getting a sense of his constituency. He joins us now for this very special interview. Thanks very much, Mr. Scindia, for being with us. I suppose it's a bit of a moment for you to rest as well. You can only watch at this stage. A lot of the hard work has really been done for you and your party. But is 400 a realistic target? Because some would suggest that last time around, the BJP was saturated in the north of the country and the west of the country. Do you really expect gains now taking place in the south of India?
Well, I think you have to look at an election, Vishnu, in terms of the point in time in which that election is taking place. And if you look at 2024 and the 10-year record of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's government and the huge transformation that has taken place in this decade, equal to more than the 65 years of previous governments in independent India. And if you look at the cumulative transformation, whether economic, whether social, across every parameter, then it becomes an analysis of what the people of India are satisfied with. And I think that in 2014, we had 282 seats. In 2019, that number grew to 303 seats, almost a 10% increase. And I believe that that number this time around will exceed 400 along with our NDA constituents. Our gains, in addition to the consolidation
One of the talking points, yes,
our position in north of India and northeast will also be from South India. There are many states in which today the public has had just about enough of this Gathbandhan governments, riven with corruption, riven with mismanagement. And I think you will see from southern states our total, which is roughly 29, almost doubling in this election, whether it is Andhra, whether it is Kerala, whether it is Karnataka, and whether it is Tamil Nadu, in addition to Orissa and other states.
The level of discourse during this election campaign, some would suggest, has been a bit of a concern, with the Chief Election Commissioner writing to the heads of all parties, telling top leaders that, be careful about what you say. Would you agree that political discourse in this very heated election campaign has been low, and that's unfortunate?
Well, I think that when it is an all-out battle, then in some cases it does become a no-holds-barred situation. And that's part of a battle in terms of an electoral process. But I do believe that the Bharatiya Janata Party in the last 2.5, 3 months has kept up a high level of discourse, focused on development, focused on the paradigm change that the Prime Minister has brought about in these 10 years, and also the path forward over the next 5 years, and then eventually the path forward to our Shatabdi Kal in 2047.
Mr. Sindhya, some would suggest that one of the biggest issues this time around would be job creation and employment. If you look at some data, in fact CMIE data I was looking at from February this year, the unemployment rate has risen in January to approximately 8%. We talk about so many issues in this election, but do you believe that job creation and employment could perhaps end up being the most important one?
Well, I think job creation is an important factor in every election, and I think job creation is the most important factor for every growing economy across the world. The Prime Minister has done a tremendous job of creating an environment which will lead to a huge amount of vibrancy. If you look at Surjit Bhalla's comments as well in terms of the number of jobs that have been created annually over the last 5 to 7 years, it speaks of a very, very large number, close to 10 million. If you look at the infrastructure development across India, which will now catapult job creation in the days to come, whether it's in the area of highways and roads, where you went from 90,000 kilometers to 150,000 kilometers of highways in a period of literally 10 years. Whether you look at the number of airports from 74 to almost 160, whether you look at railways. So the foundational steps have all been put in place for to be able to enable India to get that quantum jump going forward. Educational institutions have mushroomed from 7 new IIMs and 7 new IITs to 390 universities. Mudra loans, almost 43 crore loans have been given out, of which 70% have gone to women to create women entrepreneurship. Almost 100 unicorns have appeared on the horizon in India over the last 5 years. So a tremendous amount of entrepreneurship, job creation, skill development centers, all of that has been put in place. So I think India as a market presents a formidable opportunity for the rest of the world, not only because we will grow as a manufacturing base, but also because we have a huge consumption market within India itself. Unlike other economies which are mainly export driven, we are mainly domestic consumption combined with an export fillip to it, which presents India's opportunity.
Mr. Scindia, without getting into the merits of any one case, the argument which has been made by the opposition that
and another point I want to add,
coming up on the disproportionate
is
use
that
of,
we have grown at 8% in the last. We have grown at about 8% in the last fiscal, 7.3% the fiscal before, and mind you, this is coming off the back of COVID. And also the fact that we've grown from the 11th largest economy to the 5th largest economy, and by 2027 we'll become the 3rd largest economy in the world, taking Germany and Japan down a couple of notches and replacing them in the pecking order of the world. So India is now on a path of economic growth, and economic growth results in tremendous job creation, value creation within an economy, and I think there's nothing to stop India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership.
Without getting into the merits of the allegations themselves, the opposition says that one of the key factors going their way is the disproportionate use of the agencies against their political leaders, and then there's been the entire Arvind Kejriwal case as well. Again, without getting into the merits of the case, do you believe that this could be a factor in the elections in affecting the mindset of voters?
Not at all. Unlike other governments that used agencies and subverted democratic norms, those people are crying about democratic norms that imposed emergency on our country. And I think that if you look at even the track record of the retrievals by agencies over the 10-year period of the Congress government, it was a measly 35 lakhs. In the last 10 years, agencies have recovered close to 2,200 crores in wrongful transactions. So if you have done something wrong, then you have to pay for it. And if you haven't, then you have nothing to worry about.
I want to talk to you a little bit about civil aviation, and I remember of the campaign you were telling me that you were campaigning till 9, 10 at night, and then up till 2 o'clock in the morning you were looking at civil aviation files, because that's a really big part of our economy now. But just today, you as in the government has issued a notification to Air India saying that they really need to look into the concerns of passengers, and this is sort of pegged to a particular incident on an aircraft where passengers were taken into an aircraft, brought outside. It was very uncomfortable for them. What is the essential message that you're trying to send?
The essential message that we are trying to send is the same message that I sent airport operators last December, December of 2022, wherein the job of an airport is to be service oriented and customer oriented, and that has to be the first and the last concern of an airport. Similarly is the case for an airline operator, be it X, Y or Z. The fact that if you have a issue with an aircraft or an issue with the crew or an issue with the pilots, then it is important, first of all, to keep every passenger abreast of the latest evolving scenario. Second, give them the choice to continue with their travel or not. And third, if it extends beyond a period of time, then you must cancel the flight and reschedule it, and therefore alleviate the suffering of any passenger. And if any passenger has to wait for 8 hours, and mind you, the time period of 8 hours is the duration almost of a Mumbai-London flight or a Delhi-London flight, waiting inside the aircraft with no air conditioning or waiting inside the terminal with no facilities, unfortunately that is unacceptable to me. And therefore, even in light of a car being issued last winter, where we clearly said that any delay beyond 3 hours is unacceptable and the airline must look after the passengers, feed them, put them up. Even in light of that car being issued, there is this sort of a violation, then I'm sorry, that is unacceptable.
Yeah. CAR, of course, refers to civil aviation requirement. But you know, there have been a couple of crisis points in the last couple of weeks. There were 30 odd flight attendants on Vistara, I beg your pardon, Air India Express, who were dismissed by the airline. They ultimately came back. There was a crisis with pilots in Vistara. And in as much as these were management problems within the larger Tata group, it ended up affecting tens of thousands of passengers because these have a cascading impact. Did you have a role in sorting out some of these problems?
Well, certainly as a civil aviation minister and the civil aviation ministry, it is our fiduciary responsibility to ensure that if problems occur, then a resolution is done timely and efficiently. At the same time, I would like to say that it is not our business to be involved in the internal operations or the internal issues of any particular company. That is beyond our jurisdiction and beyond our purview. But in as so far as it affects the functioning of a service which is key to customers, a quick resolution is something that is always advisable, so that passengers are not put at any inconvenience.
So the answer to that is yes, you were directly looking into this concern and helping to find a solution, or am I reading too much into that?
Well, as I said, Vishnu, and I'm going to repeat, that the internal workings of any company or corporate is beyond our purview. It is not our business nor our right to interfere in the manner in which a company conducts its internal operations. But insofar as it affects the traveling public, certainly that is a concern, and the quicker the scenario resolves itself, the better it is for our sector and for our customers.
Sure. So one final question, campaigning all done. You've had a long, hectic